Hello and welcome back to the Gold Advantage. We're here after days 1 and 2 at League of Legends Worlds, and unfortunately, I know that Scoot has had a rough time of it because his two favorite teams, Cloud9 and T1, have lost.
I mean, terrible day. I just want to pop out of the closet. Are we at the point where North America's overrated yet? I don't know. You know, it's about overreacting today, and that's what we're going to do.
It is that.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
So that's what I was going to throw right at you. I love it. That's my first question. Is like, what the fuck is Fudge doing? I thought he was meant to be good. This is his meta. He can carry. And we're seeing people like 369 carry. We're seeing people like Wonder absorb pressure. And Fudge is just dying.
I mean, listen, I had a lot of problems with a lot of my teams today. And different characters to call out on this podcast.
This is the place for it.
Cloud9
Day
obviously
1 of reactions.
to start. However, it's right where I want him to be. I mean, come on, you really can't dial it up any better than this, right? Like, you need Cloud9 to be down. That's exactly where they are every single year in groups. It's how it should happen. It's North American League.
And they're down fucking bad because you know what? Being down 0-2 means they either need to win the next 4 straight to like guarantee getting out of groups, or they're banking on one of the other teams that are doing well to crash and burn. And right now, from what I saw, no one's crashing and fucking burning.
No, I mean, it's even worse than we think, too, because this third game is not Fnatic. They've already lost that one. And Fnatic is actually 2-0, which is fucking insane.
Where the fuck was this Fnatic during playoffs, by the way?
Listen, it's best of ones. I really don't expect them to play this well in best of fives, especially against teams that have a chance to adapt. So, like, they play T1
in Europe.
No, I agree, but you know, I don't even know. Like, I don't really have a good read on Fnatic. The win against T1 and against C9 in some regard, they were both like extremely dominant.
Yeah, just good drafts and great execution, and like that's the key. This is like the key one thing, like briefly, why Plains is hard to bet on, because you can have a good graph, but they don't know how to execute it. Like Fnatic have been doing both. They've been drafting and executing. We saw, I actually think T1, game 1, like good draft, good execution. Game 2, where they lost to Fnatic, a bit shakier, but I don't know, trending in the right way.
Game 1, draft is, I don't know if I'd call it good, but I'd call it good for their team specifically, and that like they are capable of playing an extremely perfect league game, which is exactly what they did to EDG. I think, I don't know, the faith wasn't there to play the same kind of game against Fnatic for some reason, and it should be because they are the better team, and I think that's also why they picked a safer comp, because they expected themselves to be able to kind of step up and handle Fnatic and be able to scale into a game in a longer time frame. Didn't happen. They got fucking smoked. And also, they just had zero answer to Poppy.
Yeah, none.
Like, there was no way for them to answer.
But I love I don't mind the draft because I'm like, you know what? Keep being aggressive. Keep taking these ridiculous comps until it doesn't work. Because if you can get through groups like that, it's like, you're going to be so confident when you come into this best of 5 and you know, there's no one will have a good read on you because you've just been playing this one style.
Yeah, I mean, Group A is exactly the opposite of where I kind of expected it to be. So that's not the opposite. I mean, part of me wants to be like, oh, I expected C9 to go down a little bit. This is about time where Chris would jump ship on the vision. Unfortunately, though, like where it sits now, I don't know if it's possible for both T1 and C9 to get out. That's what I'm really struggling with.
Well, but the problem is, I believe in T1. Because they faced off against EDG, their toughest opponent, and smoked them. And okay, they lost to Fnatic, but like, can I see Fnatic T1 getting out? Sure, that's awesome. It's the C9. Can C9 recover? Right now, I'm like, The way they're playing, like Berserker isn't fucking delivering, and Fudge is definitely not delivering. And like this is who the team's built around. And Fudge talks all this shit in a big game, and I'm the best. And then I'm like, this is all you've got.
I mean, they kind of need to key into this whole like idea that Blabber is a little bit of their shot caller and like just picking the fights, and that's what a lot of what you saw during LCS playoffs is like, we're gonna follow Blabber. It might be reckless, but we're going with him, and we're gonna try to execute this. And that's why they were so good, is because it was fluid around the map. And right now it looks a little bit nervous. I'm not loving it. The only person that seems to have their head on like realistically straight is Blabber. I watched Jensen get caught out in mid like 18 times today.
They were camping.
He was kind of getting ganked.
I don't think that's
necessarily
his fault. Like he was under tower. He was like, I don't think it's safe, and they were like, nah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then they fucking Azir ult him back out from under the tower, and there's just another guy that like Poppy and God, who else was there? It happened like 3 times. It was ridiculous. And it sucks for Jensen.
But the thing is, though,
I don't know.
It sucks
Flabber
for
followed
him,
one of those
but
up.
that
I was
means
like,
he's absorbing so much pressure, and I'm just like, well, okay, you have Fiora in top lane. Why is she not smashing? Like, what is this?
Where else is the rest of it? Yeah.
C9 is trash, and Fudge is trash. Group B.
That's where we're at.
Group B. I think T1's still great because that day one game was so good.
Group B. I mean,
Group
like,
B. I have a quick thing.
Is it even worth talking about?
Well, there's 2 things. One, we just had one of the best games ever. JDG versus Damwon. That was fucking what a good game. Loved it. JDG just showing like why they won the LPL.
Prowess.
The EG G2, such a fun game. Jojo, my favorite player of all time now. Like he's just talking trash. Win, lose, he's holding the line. Love it. I'm not actually taking that much away from day 2 game, lost to G2 because their draft was so bad that I think it was choked from the beginning. Like it was done.
I mean, it was terrible, and then you've got just like I feel bad for Kaori.
Yeah.
Like it was just I don't.
It was just bad.
Oh, the G2 game was so ugly,
but the day 1 game was so entertaining. And also, I actually think a good draft, and this is going back to what I said earlier about the 2 executions. Like, do you have a strategy, which is your draft, and can you execute on it? And they failed because they didn't play to their win condition, which was get dragons. And they were like doing really well. They totally could have won that game. They just didn't go for dragons. They got a bit too kill hungry. Whatever happened. So it was a failure in execution there. But up until that point, I was like, actually, they don't look that bad. So
I think they felt like they should have won it, and they probably should have in some regard. Like I don't think that EG should have lost that game. Props to JDG for putting it on them and taking the win, right? But it doesn't seem like the lead that Korea and China have now in this group is kind of surmountable, even though like Damwon and G2 are tied, but we are kind of. What, we're yet to see that? Or?
We're yet to see it, and basically,
we're yet to see that.
My overreaction here is that I don't know if G2 is that good, and I don't know if EG is that bad. So I kind of want to see a little bit more. Overreaction for Group
more
C
action from this group
is
Rogue
is fucking awesome, and I think it's the best shot a Western team has to get out. But as much as I'm like awesome, they also won through bot lane. They won through Comp and Trimby again. That's how they won the LEC finals. What happens when they can't win through bot or bot gets banned out? Can they still win?
I don't know.
That's
Odo played well.
He did.
Odo played really
nice,
well.
Like moves in top lane, like little shuffles.
I don't know. Like I have a lot of faith in that. What I'm very happy about is a lot of like the playoff 5s kind of carried over.
Yeah.
And I think we had a pretty good read on this, but as long as you have stability in the top side of the map and you can kind of open up your bot lane to a certain extent, like a lot of the drafts I've seen have resulted in kind of counterplay to the point where one team is prioritizing top, the other team's prioritizing bot lane. And you could say that that's like a pretty, general take and it doesn't really mean anything, but it kind of does in what we're seeing because throughout playoffs, kind of whatever region you look at, it was prio bot. Like you need to get ahead down there or you're not going to win the game. Like regardless of what's happening. And now we see kind of that counterplay out there. It's hard to react to this group though. Like we've had one match for each team. But my
overreaction is I'm a moron. I bet on Gam. I chickened out on betting on Fnatic. I was like, I feel like this is a good draft. I feel like they can win it. Didn't bet on them. Could have gotten 5.9 odds. And I didn't, 4.9 odds, didn't take it. And then Gam came out. They had like a little bit of excitement in the beginning. It didn't convert to kill. I was like, you know what? I'm feeling this. I don't like the Ari pick. Bet on them, and they just got fucking rinsed. So Gam is trash. I don't know. That's not serious, but I do love the fact that DRX
No, I mean,
lost.
Listen.
I'm like
my overreaction to C is I was right. and Rogue is getting out.
I would love that.
And so is top. And also, DRX was so overrated coming out of play-ins because they went 5-0, and all they did was beat RNG day one. The rest of it is literally, I think the easiest thing for Korean teams to do is to beat bad teams. Like, you see it become a problem when a team that can get scrappy, like an LPL team, does and gets in their face and makes them extremely uncomfortable. They still win some of those games because they're extremely adaptable. The region is awesome. But when you compare like LPL play and LCK play and playing bad teams, it's easier for the LCK because of the way they play and because of the stability that they have on the map. And I think a lot of that is like vision control, everything else, but they are less willing to scrap.
Vision control. What game had like impact? I think it was the Rogue game against DRX. Their vision control was it Fnatic's game against T1. Their vision control was so
they pushed the shit out of them. But it was also
great.
It was also Rogue against DRX because Rogue had DRX fleeing and just they could not go anywhere. Like everything was a stranglehold. I think they also was it the Rogue game where they spaced out Baron super well using like jungle entry. It was beautiful. I don't know. But
it was a great game to start the day, and then like the JDG damn one, fucking love that. So I'm believing in Rogue, but I am gonna caveat that. Like I need to see a game where bot lane either doesn't get ahead, like what? Because this is my big question. It's like what happens if Comp and Trimby don't get ahead? What happens if a team bans them out? Can the rest of Rogue compensate for that? We'll see.
I actually think that Larson will be able to. But the problem is Larson feels like such a stability mid laner, and a lot of the times if that's the situation going on, it feels like you need a certain carry mid laner, like Faker can take over, right? Like there's a lot of obviously mid laners here that on this list of teams that can take over games, but like Faker's the one that comes to mind, obviously, because greatest player of all time, whatever. Like that seems like a layup.
It's a layup to Group D. I don't know how it's a layup to Group D, but I'm gonna just transition over there. 100 Thieves look like trash.
Because the best mid laner in the world.
What the fuck is going on with 100 Thieves? So they look like trash.
I'm not.
I'm not happy about that.
Flying Oysters getting out of the fucking group. I said this from the beginning. Flying Oyster Gen.G, baby.
RNG looked good. Like, whatever went wrong...
Yeah, they beat the shit out of Gen.G.
Whatever went wrong in the play-ins... Yeah, they beat the shit out of them. They sorted that out. I really think they play up to the level. So in play-ins, they were playing down. Then they went up against Gen.G and they just smashed them.
They still went 4-1, right?
Like, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, they lost one game.
It's hard to be like, what went wrong?
But they also lost one
game
series. They lost Japanese.
Yeah, they lost a map, right? But I don't know. They pretty much overcame that very quickly and just made it their series. It's not really like a huge red flag in my mind. You can prep to play a team for one map, but when they adapt and you can't do shit.
This is what I mean. Like when you look at the RNG Gen.G and you see someone like Breathe, and it's like, dude, this guy is destroying. And like he's destroying on Jax.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, well, where's Fudge? What's he doing? Where's Sunday? Where's Impact? Like what is going on here?
Impact's been an interesting one for North
fucking
America.
That's right there.
It's a huge question mark right now. But dude, I don't know. I'm telling you, Oyster's getting out of this group. I think Gen.G is as well.
You don't think RNG?
They got snowballed by RNG.
No way.
I actually don't think they are.
No, they look fucking.
No, I'm telling you, they're not getting out of this group.
I'm like bet on RNG to win Worlds. JDG, RNG.
This is
finals.
RNG will fall apart second time through this group. That's my my take. I think they go 0-3 second time through.
All right.
And 100 Thieves still doesn't make it out. They'll beat them, but it's going to be a consolation.
Do you think there's an NA team that gets out? I don't think. I mean, C9 oh my god, you're fucking traded. You're dropping them already. That's rough, man.
No, C9's getting out. I'm taking C9. What? I'm literally doubling down.
You hesitated. You hesitated. I saw the doubt in your eyes.
Because you're sitting here at 0-2. Obviously, there's a hesitation. It's like, oh yeah, but who has the best shot? Like, I mean, sure, 100 Thieves because their expected value or expected wins is higher because they haven't played 2 games. But I think they're about to lose again.
I think they're gonna lose. And
then
who are they playing tomorrow?
Cloud9 is still the best shot to get out. That's the problem.
I actually think EG. I think EG played better than Cloud9.
Yeah. I don't know.
You are with me on
probably.
that one.
But I think Cloud9 will always get behind. I'm not worried about it as much as I should be,
I would.
Which is a huge problem.
If tomorrow they don't beat T1,
no, I'm telling you though, because if they're both 1 and 2, they need Fnatic to lose to EDG so that every 2-1, 1-2. And then it becomes
then it's a party.
I mean, for C90,
they have to go.
One of them has to lose another game. Well, one of them has to lose another game.
But Cloud9 has to go 3-1 at minimum.
Has to go 3-1, but should go 4-0.
Sure. All right.
To get out is what I mean.
Oh yeah, because
their ideal path out is to go 4-0.
There's
so
I don't know.
But I mean, somebody has to fall apart.
I know this is the problem. Somebody has to go why 2-4. Going 0-2 down and losing to Fnatic.
It's so detrimental, dude. It's so the Fnatic loss is so fucking bad.
So bad.
It's so bad. That was your way out, and now you've just shut that door. You have to beat T1 tomorrow. T1 thinks you're a fucking joke right now. They're gonna disrespect the shit out of you probably, and then we've got 3-3 territory. That's
shaky.
Shit.
All right,
but that means somebody falls apart.
That's it from the gruesome twosome.
Means T1's in a good spot.
That is it from gruesome twosome. Day 1 and 2 overreactions are over. Basically, it's been exciting. We've had some great games. But yeah, I'm not holding my breath for C9 anymore. Rogue I'm believing in. But that's it. I think that is it.
I think, dude, I mean, somebody's got to fall apart week 2 in one of these groups. Somebody always does. Yeah, somebody always does, but there are a lot of teams not a lot of teams, but there's a couple of teams that I'm like, oh, they're overperforming right now. And Fnatic is big highlight.
Time.
I think Fnatic, I think they are the biggest chance to fall off the map. But I mean, if they keep playing the fucking crazy comp method, it might just keep working. So it might just be fuck you. I'm wrong. Whatever. All right. I mean, that's all I've got. This is a fucking crazy table.
That's it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll probably see you in a couple of days to wrap up week 1. But that's day 1 and 2 overreactions from the gruesome twosome. Bye, everyone.
Peace out.